from those, and maybe even happen over the years as they get older and older. So I'm joined right now by chiropractor Dr. Gary Smith. Hello Gary, how are you?
Hello Dave, I'm great, thank you very much.
It's something that happens with the backpacks and buying them and getting them and the kids' things in there, but it can be a concern, can't it?
Yes, it can, and I'm sure we've all seen the children walking down the streets with the backpacks almost as big as the kids sometimes, and they're weighed down, and it is a problem, and it is back to school time, so it's an appropriate time to talk about it.
We spoke about it earlier this morning. I was talking to Todd Sargent on the Brekkie Show, and he said it's unbelievable seeing some of those kids. They look like turtles with a big shell on their back, and he worries if they ever flipped over, would they get back up again? There's so much weight in there.
Well, that's true, and particularly as they get older, into upper primary school and early high school, they have to carry more and more, and it can become a real problem for developing spines.
So we really should concentrate on getting a good school bag or a good backpack. What can be some of the consequences of the ill-fitting school bag in the backpack?
Okay, well, a great question, and a study was done by quite a prestigious medical journal called Spine, where they looked at the impact of that, and they found that if the backpack is over 5% of that child's body weight, it can start to affect their posture. And if it was greater than 10%, it would start to develop. They'd start to develop spinal pain, neck pain, and then over time, if the child's spine is so susceptible to forces, and the forces that are repeatedly put through that spine can start to deform the spine, and that most people would understand. Down the track, if that's repeated, is going to create problems.
Now, 5 kilos doesn't seem like much to us, but it is a lot, and it can start to change and shape that growing body, can't it? And that spine.
It can. It can, and certainly our professional association, the Chiropractors Association, recommends that the backpack be no more than 10% at the most of that child's body weight. And if you've got a lunch, and if you've got some books, and perhaps a jumper or a raincoat, and if that child is carrying a musical instrument or a laptop, then we're starting to get up into that range well and truly.
It all should start to be considered by those who are buying the backpack and what's going in and the weight in there. Now, when looking to buy a backpack, what should you be looking for?
Well, first of all, the double straps over both shoulders, or a single strap over each shoulder, I should say. And they should be worn over a strap over each shoulder. Compartments in the bag, so that the heavier items can be placed closest to the spine, lighter items out from the spine, and you want some cushioning between the spine and those heavy materials. So a good quality bag will have some good quality cushioning, and the backpack also needs to sit on the hips so that it doesn't drag down below the backside, if you like.
Now, something that I've become aware of, and it's something that we don't hear a lot of, but I really think we should talk about it, is scoliosis in our growing children.
Yes, scoliosis, which is a lateral curvature of the spine, can sometimes involve some rotation of the vertebra, and it typically, well, there's many causes of scoliosis, there's many causes, but very often it'll develop initially during upper primary school and early high school years. And that's not something a lot of people are aware of. They think, oh, scoliosis, it might get discovered when they're in their 20s or 30s or 40s. However, the foundation of that curvature will be laid down during upper primary school, early high school years.
So we're talking adolescence and pre-adolescence. Is there any indications that we can get as parents or grandparents watching the child to see if they may be getting a problem there with the spine or with scoliosis coming in?
Yes, there is. There are some points that people can look for. And it may be an imbalance in the hips, the shoulders may be out of alignment, one shoulder blade may be higher than the other.
A little lower than the other, possibly.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, that's right. And if you ever look at your child and get them to bend forward, you might see a ridging or a raising on one side of the spine. And these are certainly some of the things we look for clinically to see if there is a scoliosis developing.
Now, what about when it becomes between girls and boys? Because girls go through changing of their body, maybe even a little earlier than boys. They've got a lot of changes going on through them during adolescent years. Is there a difference in how we should look at girls and what they're putting on their back and weights and things like that with backpacks?
Well, I think the principles of the backpack apply across both boys and girls. However, a scoliosis, if it is going to develop, will develop generally earlier in a young girl, and a little bit later in the boys, and there can be hormonal reasons for that. But typically a scoliosis, or the incidence of scoliosis, will be 4 to 5 times greater, more common in girls than boys. So it is something to be aware of. It affects the girls more.
Scoliosis used to be aware of in schools. They used to keep an eye out for it and do some screening on it, but I don't think so as much now. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, it doesn't happen at all now. And that's one of the major reasons that we're here today. And we've been doing talks in primary schools. This year we're looking to expand into the high schools and indeed do some checking of children, because it doesn't happen anymore, and it does develop during those times.
Now, Gary, if someone is thinking to themselves, yeah, I notice my child, my daughter or my son who's getting around 12, 13, 14, 15, and there is almost like a stooping, or I can see a concern with their back, what should they do as the next step?
Yeah, well, the stooping is the other point that can be a key indicator that something's happening. Certainly, they can contact our office at Hunter Healthy Spines, and our number is 4933 0588. Or our website, hunterhealthyspines.com.au, so they can certainly contact us there. Most chiropractic offices around the Hunter, Newcastle, would be more than happy for people to pop in, say hello, these are my concerns, can you give me some more indications, answer my questions.
Well, I tell you what, we've only really just touched the surface, but time is beating us. Thank you for talking about it today. I think it's an important topic, and as I said, with these school bags, they're getting heavier and heavier, and you see the poor kids, they look like they're struggling out there.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's right, Dave.
Something we have to be mindful of, and thanks for chatting about it this morning, Gary.
Thanks very much, Dave. Thank you.
Joining us, we've got Gary Smith there and having a chat about that. If you have any concerns or you'd like to know some more details, by all means, give me a call here at 2NURFM on the office number 49215555. We have some more details on that, on scoliosis, and also if you've got any problems with the children and any concerns, we can point you in the right direction. Now, 14 to 12 at 2NURFM.